Hello everyone and welcome back to more AEW on TEW 2020. We're here week 1 of February on our Collision show. One thing I need to do, I need to try to be able to find time to book more often so I don't fall too far behind on real life. But yeah, right now we do have our show. We're in Iowa at the Bridgeview Center. I think it's Iowa. And one thing to note, just because of stuff that Kevin Nash has said in regards to the whole Vince McMahon allegations, he is no longer my user character. Jeff Jarrett is a user character. It shouldn't really change any of my booking much. I might try to put in some Jarrettisms into booking, but still, just as a little note there. We start off our show with Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, the full Acclaimed, taking on AR Fox and Top Flight, and Max Caster picks up the win. Old man Billy Gunn, a little bit too far. I mean, he's an old man. Following the match, the Dynasty Marketing Inc. music plays, and Richard Holiday, he comes out, he's flanked by Hammerstone, he's flanked by Tankman, and he starts talking, he says, "Hey, listen," and all that stuff. They claimed, "You're all fantastic talents, and trust me, I have an eye for talent." So, here at Dynasty Marketing Incorporated, we breathe some rarefied air. We go out there, and we make sure that everyone knows that everyone who works with the Dynasty Marketing is rising up to the top, because we are the top, and you guys, I think you two could have something going on. I mean, after all, former tag champions, former trios champions, you guys are so, and I mean, of course, you guys are incredibly popular as well. That said, there is something that puts me off about you two. About you, Max, and you, Bones, and that's that third man in the ring with you, that good man, Billy Gunn. And Billy Gunn, let's just say you're getting a little long in the tooth right now. I think it's time to put the old dog out the pasture. I guess that's impressive, but whatever. Time to put the old dog out to pasture so that the Acclaimed can joy with the heavyweight hustle and the mountain of muscle. And before he can say anything, the Acclaimed, they cut him off. Just, Caster, he's probably, I think Bowens is more of the, I don't actually know who the talker is. I guess Bowens is a little bit more of the talker of the group, but regardless, they say, "Hey, we're loyal to Daddy Ass. We're loyal to Billy Gunn. He's the reason that we got up to this point. He's the reason that we are so popular." So, in the end, we are, I mean, yeah, we do agree. We are some of the best of the best, and there's a reason that we're the top class in AEW's hearts, and it's because of Billy Gunn, and kind of just takes Richard Holiday off a little bit. So, starting that storyline, I'm not doing, Trios Championships, just because I don't really like the idea of Trios Championships. But I will still have Trios, storylines, we'll still have Trios matches. Again, I just think that a whole Trios division is kind of a bit much. After this, the Disillusioned in an event, yet Mustafa Ali is seen there. It's been a long time that all of us have sat around twiddling our thumbs because there's always something against us. I mean, we put in all this effort. We put in everything, our heart and soul into everything. We're out there day after day. We're risking our lives going out here because every time we enter that ring, there's always some dangers. And despite all of that, despite everything that we've gone through, everything that we've put into this, we never get up to that top. We can never sustain that. And, this is something that everyone experiences. Sure, yours in different degrees, and this is something that you know well, Eddie Kingston. Something that you've experienced, the man of the people, the Mad King, the one that everyone loves and adores. You know this exact place that I've been, feeling like you've been kicked down, you've been spat out by the system, that you have been rejected for everything that you've put into it, for loving this business so much. But now you're that very thing that you've forgotten your roots as someone who's down on the ground, who's willing to wade through the muck of all this interaction, of all these people out here who deny you. You're that corporate mule. You're that big beacon of popularity. That big beacon of getting all that recognition that you think you finally deserve, sitting atop your ivory tower and realizing that you, the Mad King, are nothing more than a tyrant. Eddie Kingston, you need to come to terms with your failures. You need to realize that the disillusioned are going to bite back. So, someone challenging for the Continental title. Haven't had too much focus on that because I'm probably going to eventually retire the Continental, but unify it, something. After this, Mercedes Moné, in her first match here in the dub, picks up a dub against Thunder Rosa, gets it in with a bank statement. Not bad there. After the match, Hikaru Shida comes out. She has a mic in her hand. She says that, Mercedes, she's a good wrestler, but that her plague on AEW isn't going to stand for Shida. She's not going to let Mercedes go in and tarnish the name of AEW more. And Mercedes, she looks more annoyed than anything. Shida talking, she's not, upset. And eventually she kind of just waves a hand, very, very flippantly. Renegade Twins, they come out. They beat down Shida. Britt Baker, Megan Bayne, they come out to try to save Shida, just because they're kind of... Britt Baker is mainly, one of the protectors of AEW on the women's side. And Megan Bayne, her replacement for Jamie Hayter, because I'm going to get Jamie Hayter as far away from them as possible. Far away from Britt as possible. Well, not necessarily, but still. And, yeah, the Renegades, they're running back. They're like, alright, Mercedes, you protect us. And Mercedes, she's yelling off mic that if Britt and Megan want to fight, they can get one against the Renegades on Dynamite. The Renegade Twins versus Britt Baker and Megan Bayne set for Wednesday's show. BCC are then all seen together. Brian is pacing around. He's yelling like a drill sergeant. He's just very angry at the disappointment that all of them suffered at the hands of Samoa Joe. Singles out Yuta specifically, but right away Claudio, he steps in. It's like, hey, you know what, Yuta? He's someone who he's putting in a lot. He's really going out here. He was someone who was trying to get involved in every match, trying to still be honorable, still stick to the BCC creed. But, and in the end, all of them, they all lost. They all lost as one, and Samoa Joe took him out. But Brian now starts to yell at Claudio. He's kind of, he's biting back. Mox eventually, he shouts out, tells everyone to shut up. They're all acting like little bitches. He storms out. And Brian, he takes a moment. It's like, whatever. He's kind of gotten out of the mindset of that drill sergeant, and he walks out. Claudio, he waits a little bit. He knows that they've been very harsh to Yuta. He wants to go out there and train the young lad. I'm starting to get some work with the BCC. I did have an initial plan for Yuta, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go through with that. I'll have to see how I feel about the Claudio and Yuta pairing. When we return from... I was hoping this segment would do better. Return from commercial, Swerve and the Mogul MC, they make their way to the ring. Swerve has a mic. There's a couple chairs set out. Maybe a table. Yeah, sure, why not? We're gonna get the works in there. And Swerve, he sits back, he has his feet up on the table, and eventually TK comes out. He's accompanied by the Bucks, he's accompanied by Adam Page, he's accompanied by security members, some road agents. It's not too much, honestly. But they eventually get in there. Tony Khan, he's about to ask, alright, Swerve, what do you want? But the Bucks, they take control of the mic, as does Adam Page, mainly because I don't want Tony Khan cutting promos. Sounds awful. Well, yeah, he does sound awful in promos. And Swerve is like, alright, no, Bucks, Page, you can just shut up. Tony Khan's the one that runs the show. And what I want right now is something very simple. What I want is to make a point. That I'm the reason that AEW remains afloat in spite of what you right there, despite what all of you have done to hurt this company. That you've driven out some of the biggest draws, that you've made yourselves an ass online, that you've made yourselves just this annoyance that nobody wants to see. But who's propping it up? Swerve's propping it up. He called this meeting. He was demanding this to show how much clout he has, how just a little bit of wrenching that arm is enough finally to get Tony Khan to bend to anyone's will. He wants to show that he has this strength, he has this pull, and to prove that to everyone who's watching, everyone at home, everyone who's there live, that when he says it's Swerve's house, it's not just a catchphrase. That it's more than it sounds. It's something that's really true. That when he says it is Swerve's house, he doesn't mean that it's just whatever building they're in is now populated by Swerve. He doesn't just mean that AEW is Swerve's land to conquer. He means that AEW is Swerve. That AEW runs through him. So, with a simple wave of the hand, the embassy muscles lay out everyone. Swerve, he takes a very casual walk towards Tony Khan, just kind of grabs him by the tie, says, well, it's Swerve's in charge. And he kind of lets go, and he leaves. I took a little bit to come up with a justification for why, but I think this is a decent point here. It is a little bit of work to shoot, but I feel like Swerve could pull it off. I think Swerve could pull off a work shoot. I'm not sure if the Bucks would be able to. Announcing quality. Kind of wish that was a better segment, but still. After this, Keith Lee is seen in his office, and a knock on the door is heard. Xander Lyons steps in. He says that he's been thinking about all the teaching that Keith has done, but even with all of that, there's nothing more important than in-ring experience. And he knows that TMDK, they're not going to be easy opponents. They know all four of them are tough guys, especially Zack Sabre Jr., but they're ones that he wants to prove that he's strong against. I think he outsizes all of them. I'm not sure about how big Tito is, because Xander, according to the in-game description, he is 6'6". So, big guy out there. Keith, he kind of takes this into consideration. He's thinking a little bit before. He says that Zack Sabre Jr. is a very dangerous technician for anyone to face, let alone someone who is still as young, as raw, as inexperienced as yourself, Xander. And you are making quick progress with your learning, with your tutelage. But even then, I am not certain I want to throw you out to the wolves, so to speak. And Xander, he's very understanding. But instead, it's like, you know what? There's another training facility I want to go to, if you'll let me. And Keith's like, alright, sure. I'll also go with you. And presumably it's somewhere that they've discussed before, but we don't know where it is. Ends the segment. A little bit of ILK stuff going on. Xander actually has... His stats are still mostly pretty, like, middle tier. It's a lot of 40s to 60s. His athleticism is through the roof, though. And he has 80 psych. Unfortunately, his gimmick does ding him in psych, but still. He's gonna be someone that I'll have fun booking, I think. After this, Renee Paquette is interviewing the Outcast, and right away, Saraya, she's screaming into the mic that whatever Tessa Blanchard is doing is not impressing anyone, as she's trying to weasel her way back into any sort of spotlight after, being who she is. Saraya wants to shut her up on Dynamite, and she's already gotten approval from Tony Khan for the match, so come Wednesday, Saraya is going to beat the hell out of Tessa and kick her out of AEW for good. Pretty simple. Truly the most thrilling match that everyone wants to see. After this, Okada defeats Lance Archer with the Rainmaker. Joe was on commentary. They have good chemistry, which is interesting. And this is just saying that right away, Joe, he was on commentary. He gets up, he's kind of posing with the belt. Okada's looking at it. Simple stuff there. It's a real quick segment. After this, Renee is interviewing the best friends about everything going on with them. The friends themselves, they talk about their tag title match at Revolution. But even with that as a growing focus, with that being something more in the spotlight, they're starting to be watching Orange and Chris's backs. Chris is pretty dismissive of Tony. She knows that, Tony, great competitor, all that, but I'm kind of just sick and tired of all of this movie star bullshit. And even with Mariah and Luther in her corner, Chris is going to come out on top. Orange, he's a little bit more animated than usual. Like, I mean, that's not very difficult to do, but like, he's showing a little bit of energy, showing a little bit of emotion, saying that he has a lot of challenges for his title. He has Hiromu Takahashi of the LFI, he has Malachi Black of the House of Black coming after him. He's sure that there's going to be other people gunning for his title, but in Revolution, he's going to put up a hell of a fight in order to defend his international title. Quick rundown of the Best Friends plans. Roddy Strong defeats Mike Bailey. Adam Cole is into the ring. He has a mic in his hands. He's accompanied by Wardlow as well. It's an impassioned speech just a little bit ago from our international champion, huh? Well, you want another one of those challenges, but we have our eyes elsewhere. Eddie Kingston, you're just a little dipshit that... You remind me a little bit too much of our little asshole Max. You're a great talker, I get it. Someone that speaks your mind, and all these dweebs out in the crowd eat up every single word that you spit out. So when I heard Mustafa Ali mention you, I gotta tell you, I was licking my lips more than you do at catering. See, Roddy right here, he's gonna wrestle circles around you. And Mustafa, Roddy's also got you cleared easily. No difficulty whatsoever. But there's still more goal that you have, isn't there, Eddie? That's where the War Dog comes in. Where Wardlow comes in. Come bound by glory, Wardlow's going to rip that ROH World title out of your hands while Roddy takes that Continental crown. Gold is gonna run through the Kingdom's veins, baby. So laying out a few more mid-card challenges. Oh boy. Here we go. David Boy Smith is sitting in the production truck. He's being very disappointed. He's like, come on, guys. Stop the swearing. Stop all the blood. Come on, guys. Approached by Sammy. Sammy says that he's been thinking about what David Boy Smith Jr., Grissom, it is David Boy Smith Jr., has been saying, and it's really come to resonate with him. And Sammy, he admits he's been a bit of an asshole, and David Boy Smith Jr. is like, hey, watch the language. And he wants to change now that he's a father. And David Boy Smith Jr. is happy to hear this. He invites Samuel to come on a retreat. And he does say Samuel to come on a retreat with him. So we can start getting you, Samuel, training into a new, better, network-friendly person for the sake of his family. So, there we go. I'm excited for the Samuel Guevara stuff. Main event? Not bad. Sting and Darby defeat the Lucha Bros. Darby pins Penta with a coffin drop. Sting was the weak link because he's very old. One thing I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of the Lucha Brothers. Like, sure, they're good. They're good in the ring, but they don't sell for shit. So the business is in the damn shape it's in, or whatever it was Hogan said at the end of, or not end of Bash at the Beach. Still, really. Very shortly after the match, Will Ospreay has hit the ring, and he delivers a hidden blade to Sting. Darby, he's stunned. He tries to go out and make the save, but he's cut off by the rest of the Don Callis family, mainly Takeshita. He was on commentary. He makes his way down. He's taunting Darby on the mic before Miro's music hits, and Miro charges out. He's a House of Fire to start off. He does lay everyone out initially, but eventually the numbers do get an advantage over Miro. Show ends with Don Callis dinking, it's protected chair shot to Sting with the steel chair before Ospreay puts his foot on the neck, or probably the upper back of Sting, seemingly declaring his victory. Go and 71 rating. I think really carried mainly by those two matches at the end of the show. Honestly, I'm more happy to see that we had a lot of consistent things because, I want to build up a pretty deep roster. Problem right now is that I don't really have many main eventers. I need to push some people up to the main event scene. But we have a very deep mid-card scene at the very least, and I'm definitely improving that bit by bit, I think. But, yeah. I think that will... Well, not think that will. That will do it for this time, as we move on to Dynamite.